would make it this far, they hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball, I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say, I got them picking up the pieces.
As they say, but first, coffee.
That me, you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back, you ain't fitting for it cause you all cap like.
All right, now that we've got this established, let's talk about progress. A lot of people say like, oh, this is the fucking secret to success. I'm not here to bullshit you, but I do want to say to you that what a lot of people miss about achieving shit in life, you know, living that way, that being your primary orientation and how you go about the world, like you're just an achiever. Some folks are movie buffs, or some folks just like kind of want to live their lives and kind of barely make it or make it comfortably and whatever and just have fun in the meantime as much as they can because work sucks so bad. I'm the opposite. I like to work, I like to hustle, I like to achieve things, I like to build things, and that's my life. And so doing this for such a long time, nearly 20 years now, I've got some distinctions I want to share with you. Number one, the primary thing you're looking for and the primary thing you need to be focusing on is just progress. Just progress, right? Look, I mean, in some cases, your outcomes could take 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3. Like some of my goals are going to take 5 more years. And in total, they will have taken 20 years for me to hit. So if you relied solely on like your excitement for the outcome, which by the way, is a motivating factor, being excited about the outcome and looking at that and letting that like fucking drive you and you being pumped about how life is gonna look when you achieve this thing. But if you solely let that drive you and nothing else, well, you're gonna burn out pretty quickly, which is why progress has to drive you. Progress, brother. Look at it, identify that it's there, and let that drive you.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball, I know I make it look easy.
And the fact is, the really fun fact is, the fact to understand so that you don't, I don't know, make yourself nuts in the meantime trying to hit your outcomes is that like, you're not really going to see significant progress right away. I mean, certainly not right away. And for a long time, dude, progress happens in intervals, right? The outcome doesn't just show up suddenly, right? I think we all inherently know that, but I mean, the outcome comes through this cumulative effect of you consistently taking action. And some of it is the wrong action, right? I mean, that's why you have to be paying attention to your outcome and don't let yourself continue to take action when nothing is happening, no results are happening. That means you need to change your strategy, right? But if you've got the right approach to what you're doing, that's how it works. A cumulative sets of progress, right? Of obvious progress until you reach the outcome. And what I used to be confused about, I guess when I was younger and, you know, I don't know, when I started my first company is like how this process from start to finish actually works. So I would see little shreds of progress, but I'd be like, you know, yeah, I mean, how far am I away from the outcome? I'm not close to the outcome yet. That would demotivate me and put me in a place where, yeah, it was harder for me to energize myself to continue taking action. I had no idea, like, when the outcome was actually going to come about, because no one told me the framework of how fucking achievement works. And I'm trying to do that for you here, right? I'm trying to explain to you that achievement works in a very particular way, where you target the outcome, you start executing. If you have the right approach, you will see progress, and you've got to look at that and let that re-motivate you or keep you motivated to consistently keep moving forward. If you find that your strategy is wrong, meaning you've gone so long without progress, right? A good degree of time without progress, if you're in a situation that, yeah, you should be seeing some progress pretty soon, you've got to be able to, you know, have discernment there, means that your approach is fucking definitely wrong. And you've got to figure that out, right? You've got to change it. I think, first of all, it's an easy way to get overwhelmed when you're thinking that, like, you've got to reach the outcome today or, like, fucking tomorrow or next month or something. It's just, I don't even think about the outcome. Now, knowing how this all works after years of doing it and it being my life, I recognize that it's just the progress points. It's you taking action, hitting the progress points, letting those progress points mount up, and then eventually the outcome kind of just manifests as a result of that.
Me, I promise I'm too much. Ay, I can never let up even if you had enough. Ay, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to be the submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance ain't coming off track, no. When they ask what's the motive, don't talk, I just show them. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling, they already know.
And guys, there's so much more, right, to the process of achievement. It's just like this thing that over the years, since it's been my life for going on 20 years, right, I've made all these distinctions, and I kind of want to lay out what we've talked about and some more distinctions in a list for you. Number one, you are not looking for the outcome to motivate you along the way. You are strictly looking at progress points. Yeah, look, you should have a 50,000-foot view every now and then to make sure that you're aligned with the outcome and that like what you're doing is driving you closer to the outcome, and you should think about that end goal. But largely what's going to drive you and what successful people allow to drive them is progress points. Number two, this is a really important point to make. Progress points are the only real measure of success for a long time, okay? Progress points are the only real measure of success for quite a long time in the process of you achieving things. If you're relying on other measures of success, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. You know, in the dynamic of achieving things like the noticeable, big, cumulative, snowballed, like super awesome positive outcomes, they come down the line, and they're far more rare than the progress points. That's why you've got to focus on the progress points to drive you. Progress points are the only real measure of success until you hit these bigger outcomes. But along the way, the progress points are it. Number three, noticeable success does not randomly pop up, okay? Noticeable outcomes do not randomly pop up. Like, you're not gonna be in the process of trying to make your body look better and get the physique you want, and then suddenly you look like Brad Pitt from fucking Fight Club. So like, if that's what you think, and you're even though you know logically that's not how it works, but your brain is somehow going like, in order to justify me continuing, I need to see some significant progress, you're probably gonna fucking quit. Which is a perfect segue into number four, which is quitting is like the number one barrier to entry in the world of achievement, okay, quitting. Now look, I hate using like 99% of people, just sounds so fucking weird and I just hate it. But the truth is, I mean, there's probably a 5 to 10% faction of folks that are achievers that know how the process works, and if they don't intuitively know how the process works and are executing daily and tracking the progress points and continuing to change their strategy and hitting outcomes. But the rest of the percentage of people, call it 90%, right, of the rest of folks quit because they don't understand the process. They get impatient along the way. They're not looking at progress points as the primary measure of success, you know, and they don't have these distinctions like looking at what you're doing. And if you're not getting progress, or you know, you're not advancing along the way to change what you're doing, they just don't have these distinctions. So folks just quit. People want instant gratification. I think we all know that. So quitting is the number one barrier to entry in the world of achievement, okay? Number five, and this is a really important one, which sort of lays all of this out. The process of achievement is the following. You have a target outcome, you devise a strategy, you execute on the strategy, you observe and are aware of the progress or no progress, kind of what the feedback is from the world, and then you either keep doing what you're doing if you've got measurable progress through these progress points, or you modify your approach and give it another go. So to simplify it, I guess you could say target, so have a target, strategy, devise a strategy, execute, right? That's pretty self-explanatory. Observe, watch what happens, see how it all works, see if you need to change your approach or not. And then alter, right? Alter your approach or don't alter your approach. In most cases, you're going to have to. I mean, every single outcome is like a dialing in process, right? Like we talked about last night with TRT. It's a dialing in process, right? So you're looking at what you're doing, you're getting feedback from the world, and you know, you're analyzing your approach. Should this change? Should that change? You change, you know, one thing at a time or a couple things, or take a whole new approach. And that whole process just rinses and repeats. Number six, and this is kind of a curveball one for you folks, but I wanted to share it because it's just, I don't know, maybe it's like something that the fucking 10%ers just sort of share amongst each other or just know personally, and that is, don't take advice from anyone that isn't either where you're going or where you want to be. You do not want to be taking advice from like your friend or your fucking aunt or whoever that isn't going where you're going or isn't where you want to be. Because all they will do, right, in almost all cases, is try to impose onto you their psychological limitations on why they can't achieve, you know, goals in life, right? I mean, they've gotten to the point where they're sort of like, you know, a little sour about like what they tried to do in their 20s or 30s and it didn't work out, and they sort of settled for the type of life that they live, and maybe it's comfortable, maybe it isn't. I mean, I don't really know, but folks will sort of rationalize their behavior and then couch what happened as, oh, that's just the way the world works, and then try to offload that scenario on you, where in reality it was probably their strategy. More than likely it was their mindset that limited them from actually, making their life happen the way that they had pictured it in their early 20s or something. So you have to be really careful about that. Don't be fucking asking people for advice, especially your friends at the bar, God forbid, or whoever that is not out there doing it, man. The people that you want to seek out for advice about how to be a hard-charging, fucking conquering motherfucker are the people that are out there hard-charging and conquering shit. And number 7, this is a really, really important, is kind of a non-negotiable pillar of achieving success in life, is you got to feel amazing 95% of the time. 95% of the time, okay? You're allowed in the dynamic of success to feel like shit or not feel like doing anything 5% of the time. I mean, that's totally fine. But the most effective, forward-moving, hard-charging individuals, a good part of why they're able to do that is they just fucking feel great 95% of the time, right? They feel good. Energy, sleep, diet, exercise, lifestyle, testosterone, emotional stability, contentness. You need all of these things. If one is imbalanced, you're a less effective person. Emotional stability as an example, right? If for some reason, whether it's neurotransmitters or it's hormonal, those are the two things that drive that, or it's some outside force that's fucking with your spirit, like how you generally feel you're unhappy because some outside force is sucking the life force out of you, something terrible is happening in your life, you're with a toxic partner, God forbid. And your emotional stability is not great, that is going to prevent you from being your best self. Obviously, if your energy is not great, that's going to prevent you from being your best self. If your sleep is continually interrupted, that's going to prevent you from being your best self. I mean, there's just no question about these things. Your testosterone, God, it's such an important thing, man. It's that's why I talk about it all the time, dude. It's got to be at high levels, and you've got to balance that with estradiol, and you've got to be conscious of the sort of, perfection sweet spot in your hormones. And if it isn't, if test is low, you're not going to be as effective as you need to be. If test is uber high and so is estradiol, you're also not going to be as effective as you need to be, because that'll probably lead to an emotional imbalance. Energy, sleep, diet, exercise, lifestyle, testosterone, emotional stability. All of these things have to be pretty straight 95% of the time. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can sleep in a subpar manner and just because you're motivated or something. If people that get away with that, their genetics and probably somewhat of what they're doing in their diet or lifestyle, I don't know, maybe they're just consuming large amounts of caffeine throughout the day, but they only sleep 6 hours a night. These people, their genetics largely are driving their capacity to be highly, highly motivated and get stuff done. Those are anomalous individuals, and you are probably not built that way. And so you've got to, in order to be successful and achieve a lot, you got to be functioning pretty fucking awesomely 95% of the time. And that should be your goal, dude. Live your life to function great. Guys like us, people that are achieving and that's what they do for life, we can't get away. So I can get away with 2 or 3 days in a row of a couple beers. You know what I mean? Booze is not my thing. It's just not my poison of choice or whatever, crutch of choice. It really never has been for a variety of reasons. But yeah, I mean, every now and then, I've got some friends here that I met, and that's kind of what we do when we get together, right? We'll go to the local pizza place bar and have a pizza and some fucking beers or whatever. Or I've met some people that all we really do is go out to nice restaurants. So we'll go out to a nice restaurant, and if that happens to fall in a space where for 2 days, I'm meeting 2 of them for 2 different days, and then on the 3rd day, I just want to take a me day and not focus on business so much, and maybe go to the casino here and walk around and go to my favorite restaurant there and sit at the bar and talk with people and chat it up. Then I have a drink that day, and it's but no more than that. 3 days in a row starts fucking with my energy, man. Starts fucking with my emotional stability. Starts fucking with GABA and glutamate. It starts messing with serotonin and dopamine. It tips the scales in a direction where I don't want to be in, because I know I'm going to be a lot less effective and productive. I'm going to feel less good and less optimal, less stable emotionally. I'm going to have less energy. Again, you can get away with doing things that make you feel subpar, but not for too long. And if things that are making you subpar are a normal part of your routine, get them the fuck out of your routine as fast as you can. Run to get them out and to develop healthier habits. Overall, this channel is about nootropics and performance optimization, but this other stuff goes into it. You know, you need to understand like how your interaction with goals and action and outcomes works in order for you to, like, throughout the process, not drive yourself mad. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's like if you understand how all this works through the process, you're like, oh, this is just part of the process. Curveballs come, part of the process, right? You've got your progress points, so you're measuring them. You know you're heading in the right direction. The trajectory is going like this. Even if it divots, like, you're still heading in the right direction. And that keeps you content along the way to achievement. If that makes sense. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Go check out some of our products, livecortex.com, because they drive both me as an individual in terms of being effective and successful, and a lot of our customers who have been buying the Cortex stack and the Torque stack and some of our other products for many years. Number one, Torque. Epic pre-made nootropic stack. Just launched just about a couple weeks ago. We blew out half of our inventory, and by the way, that's 700 bottles in a mere 2 weeks. So people love the Torque stack. We're getting emails every day with testimonials saying this is the best stack on the market, turns my brain on, my energy is so peak, I feel so fucking motivated. Buy a bottle of the Torque nootropic stack and put your brain into overdrive. livecortex.com. Our second nootropic stack is Cortex. Those of you that haven't tried Cortex, get a bottle of Cortex. It's less stimulant-like than Torque, certainly a little more subtle, but still very potent and mostly focused on dopaminergic energy. So that motivated drive to get down to the work that you need to do. Cortex is an effective nootropic stack. Buy a bottle of Cortex at livecortex.com. Either one of the stacks you can either get singularly or on auto ship. The best option is to do auto ship initially because you'll get it cheaper. And if you love the stack, just keep having it auto build and sent to your doorstep every 30 days. If you need my help on anything, whether it's related to testosterone, dialing in your TRT protocol, dialing in your nootropics protocol, or anything else related to performance optimization by modifying physiological parameters, which is my specialty, book a call with me or book an ongoing consult with me. You can find those options at livecortex.com, and yes, I do have slots. If you're booking just a call, we can be on the phone within 24 to 48 hours, probably sooner because I like to get these in, get you squared away and on your way as soon as possible. So go book at livecortex.com. Thank you so much for being with me. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, just hit the box and the bell to get notified of everything we're doing because I'm putting out all manner of content these days. All manner. Pleasure being with you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will chat with you soon.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah.